welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And today we're having a look at, is it a whiskey? Yeah, I think it is a whiskey. It's the George Dickel No. 1 white corn. And I think the white corn whiskey, mellow as moonlight. Here it says first recipe or recipe number 1. So it's really back in the days that whiskey was more and more sold as a white spirit, not a brown spirit. Depending on how far you lived from the distillery, it was transported in casks, so maybe it took half a year transport there and you could get some color in your whiskey. That's actually how they found out that maturing is good for the taste of a whiskey, but that's the story of the Americans. And it was a story about someone who shipped down a barrel of whiskey down the Mississippi, and I don't know. But yes, people realize that that mellowing inside a cask makes the maturing inside a cask makes the whiskey more mellow and nicer. This one is now a bit different to normal American whiskeys. Normal American bourbon or Tennessee whiskeys have at least 51% corn. Corn whiskey has to have more. I think it's 70. This one, actually, the mash bill is known, and they have 84% corn, 8% rye, and 8% malted barley. Malted barley is important. It has to be around 10, it says. Malted barley for the enzymes within the malted barley. They are good for the mashing of corn and rye. So yeah, that's why the malted barley is in there. The rye gives it a little bit more kick to it, and the corn is good base and very sweet, so that's what we probably get out of it. In terms of maturing, as you can see, it's a white whiskey, 0 years. And yeah, let's have a look how that actually tastes. I had a bit of a talk about the distillery and everything in my last video. If you'd like to know more about the distillery, there is a distillery video, although it's a bit different quality to this, no beard. And it was, I think, in 2015, it was my first distillery tour, and I actually took the distillery tour straight to America. So let's have a look how this George Dickel actually does. Ooh, strange. Strange. It has a bit of a fermented note in there. A fruity fermented note, yes, definitely. It's a bit sharp. It has 45.5% ABV, so about 91 proof. But doesn't have that of a straight, strong, intense smell. I do come from the 8-year-old, so yeah, that has a lot more power to it, obviously. Ooh, 45%. It has a sharpness, alcoholic sharpness, but a lot less than I expected. Probably the charcoal mellowing that really makes it more mellow. Very fresh, also fermented fruit, sweetness in it, but far away from a sweetness that you would know from American whiskey like bourbon or Tennessee whiskey. So you can really see American whiskey does get a bit of sweetness from its corn, but a lot more sweetness from the cask. I have to, if I'm honest here, I do think it's very interesting to have a white whiskey on the cask. It's not my thing, because it's just, you feel it around the edges. It's still sharp around the edges. There's no reductive maturation, no additive maturation. There is no maturation in there, so it feels a little bit. It is. I think it's better than a vodka, but it still has a bit of a tone of vodka in there. It's sharp and a bit hefty. And I imagine this must have been like what drinking whiskey was back in the days. Sharpness, probably all the other distilleries except George Dickel were making, yeah, a lot of more. The moonshine was tons more sharp, and they had bigger hard pieces, and the feints in the foreshots, they just ignored a lot of that. Blindness is a bit of a problem there. So this is a bit more going into back in the days. How was whiskey back in the days? So this is a bit, white whiskey was more drunk back in the days because people just didn't have the time or the money or the resources to mature much of the whiskey. So that back in the days, white whiskey was the thing to drink, I would say. Yeah. If you'd like to have a look how this white corn whiskey tastes and you live in the Netherlands, then please feel free to go to Whisky.com and find this whiskey in the shop. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.